It is said that when two elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. I do not know the person who coined this statement, but it teaches a very powerful principle that I see at work in many areas of life. It is seen at work in politics, it is seen at work in families, it is seen at work in business organizations, it is seen at work in religious institutions, and so on and so forth. In government, when leaders fight, it is the citizens that suffer. In a family, when the parents fight, it is the children that suffer. In a business organization, when the top members of management fight, it is the employees that suffer. Now guess who suffers when Jesus and Paul fight in the Christian sphere? I know that I'm saying this at the risk of being accused of blasphemy, but that's fine. I suspect someone out there is asking, how dare you say that Jesus and Paul can fight? But I dare tell you that they do, and I'm going to show you shortly how and where. And when they do, it is the Christians that suffer, it is the would-be followers that suffer as they try to find which side to follow. Almost every Christian you meet will proudly tell you that they follow the gospel of Jesus Christ. But a closer look at their beliefs and practices reveals a different, subtle story. Some preachers have resorted to preaching exclusively the gospel that Jesus Christ himself preached, and they don't want to hear anything to do with Paul. Others focus on what Paul wrote because they think what Jesus preached is hard and impractical. The appropriate description for their religion, I think, should be Paulinity rather than Christianity. But of course, they will deny that. We have other preachers who believe that the teachings of Paul agree in every detail with what Jesus taught. So they spend enormous amounts of time trying to reconcile the irreconcilable, because some of what Paul wrote in his letters clearly contradict what Jesus taught in the Gospels. For quite some time, I have been asking myself how there can be so many Christian churches all claiming to believe in the same Jesus and preaching from the same Bible, but they don't agree. They are disunited, though they preach unity. They hate each other, though they preach love. They are dishonest, though they preach honesty. They focus on converting people to their churches, but they claim to be drawing them to Christ, and so on and so forth. Surely, such a state of affairs does not put Christianity in a good light. It makes it look shabby and unattractive to those watching at a distance. And I wonder why this is allowed to continue. Something must be done. Doesn't this explain why people are moving from church to church and why some are leaving Christianity altogether? Let me sample for you a few instances in which Jesus and Paul clash. In Romans chapter 14, verses 34 to 35, Paul says, and I quote, "Women should remain silent in the churches. They are not allowed to speak, but must be in submission, as the law says. If they want to inquire about something, they should ask their own husbands at home. For it is disgraceful for a woman to speak in the church." End of quote. Come on, Paul. Really? I have tried to search the Gospels to find out if there is anywhere Jesus supported such kind of idea, but I have failed. And I think someone who knows can help me. In Romans chapter 10, verse 4, Paul says that Christ is the end of the law, so that there may be righteousness for everyone who believes. End of quote. Yet Jesus in Matthew 5:17 says that I have not come to abolish the law, but to make it meaningful. Just to mention but a few. So what do you do in the face of such glaring contradictions? Sometimes, of course, complex problems have simple solutions. And I have come up with a simple formula which I'm sure can help many Christians navigate this confusion. This formula is found in the following song. Lift up Jesus higher. Oh, my spirit, lift up Jesus higher. Simple. Lift up Jesus higher. And what I mean by this is that when you are faced with two contradictory teachings from the Bible, find out what Jesus said about it and go with that. In other words, you must lift the teachings of Jesus higher than the teachings of any other person. Be it Paul, be it your archbishop, be it your pastor, be it the Pope. If what they teach doesn't agree with Jesus' gospel, ignore, and you'll be well on your way to inheriting eternal life. And if you find that Jesus does not talk about it, I suggest you don't waste time arguing about it. Probably it's not important. Always lift up Jesus higher because he is the way, the truth, and the life. God bless you.